Now, as an avid watcher and follower of your Instagram, I saw last week you're growing avocados and you're pretty proud of that. Where does growing avocados and putting up a 30-second story rate with being into the Eagles Hall of Fame?
It doesn't really compare, I guess. Although I did plant the avocados and they're not dead yet. They've lasted 3 years, so it's pretty high on my achievements. But I mean, this is definitely the highest individual honour I've received. So yeah, I got the phone call, same as Pikey, late last year, and had to sit down after that because it was something I didn't see coming, but yeah, truly grateful.
Yeah, only 21 members now into the Hall of Fame, so it's a wonderful, very succinct and small club. Talk about missing the 2006 flag. It must have been tough, and there was a couple of tough years in between all that, and then you have to wait for your flag. What was driving you to persist and keep on going?
I guess getting drafted to the footy club at the end of 2004, and then seeing the early success they had in my first year grand final. They obviously lost. The 2006, I played that first final after having a good game in round 22 and signed a new contract and everything that week and was on top of the world and got a quick reality check when Craig Bolton lined up on me in that final and I didn't really get a kick and obviously missed out for the rest of that final series, and that was a big driving force for me for the rest of my career. I sort of only really wanted to play for success, especially once you break into the side, which for me was 2007. And yeah, I got to the stage of my career where I thought probably going to finish up without the ultimate, and yeah, just got lucky in the end.
Well, talk about 2006, I don't want to harp too much on it, but when you get left out and you see the premiership spoils and you see all that unfold in front of you, what's the emotion? Is there anger, disappointment, and how quickly do you have to move on, knowing full well, big picture, and if you look forward, that you're playing a flag a dozen years later?
You just think it's going to continue forever, I guess. As a kid, first 2 years, 2 grand finals, and then 2007, I feel like we had a really good opportunity, but things just didn't go our way. I think Cuzzy went down with a hammy, Curry had a finger, Juddy hurt his groins, and we sort of bowed out, and then we obviously had a few tough years after that. But I suppose that is what makes it all the more special when you finally get one in the end. But it's also a driving force. I sort of look back on my career and think if I had played in an early premiership when things got tough at certain times later in my career with injuries and stuff, would I have hung in there? I'm not sure.
The 12 goals, and that was documented on the video presentation just then, probably a stupid question, but you go to a game thinking, I'm on today. Not into a game. I always played okay against Essendon on the scoreboard, but I found them really difficult as opponents. I felt like I was on walking in at half time. I had 7 at half time. I remember Woosha was there. I sort of strutted into the team meeting early, like, here we go. And I remember looking up on the whiteboard. I'm sort of just thinking that there's going to be one name inside 50, and the rest will be up on the outside the 50 here. I'm seeing them pretty well. And I remember I sat down and I looked up, and Lynch, Kennedy. I'm thinking, hang on a second, where's my name? And then I'd look up and then I see my name on a wing and I was like, you're at the same game I'm at. Well, I've got 7 at half time and I'm on the wing. And but it goes to show, the genius of the coaching. He came up to me after the team meeting and said, it's only for the first 30 seconds. Hopefully we'll take a bit of attention off you. And lucky enough, it worked well. He said, push forward, and I got a goal straight away. So. Are you counting after that?
I was counting at 1. I always count. Don't worry about that. Yeah, small forwards, mate. Me and Fido, we always know how many we got. We might say, I kicked about 4 or 5, but we knew exactly what we got.
Very good. And you got taped up. You looked like Rick McCosker after the centenary test of 77. You couldn't get it off quick enough for the photos?
Yeah, I took it off a bit early. I had blood coming down on the interview after. But that as well, that's a genius bit of coaching. But this time from Peter Sumich, I think he's kicked 13 in a game before, and I come off with the blood rule, and he just said, I just need to talk to Lecker on the phone, and he kept me on the phone for about 4 or 5 minutes trying to just slow my goal kicking down so I didn't beat his 13. So, Summer, I don't know if you're here, but you cost me.
Liam Ryan, Junior Rioli, of course, they've sort of
that small forward role. And we know that Junior's moved on, but Liam's still got, and there's other small forwards coming into the club. It's a key role, isn't it? And we've seen with Fido even tonight.
Yeah, it is. And it's something I saw a position in the side after Fido retired that, that was probably my window to try and nail a position and get a consistent spot in the side. And, like I said, once I broke into the side, we've had a few come through the doors, but the back end of my career, I sort of really valued being able to play with the likes of like Liam and Junior and Jamie Cripps and these sort of players. Being able to sort of help them grow as players and create friendships, and now it gives me something to sit back and watch and just sort of in awe at sometimes at some of the things they do. It's an exciting role and position on the ground. It can be tough, it can be the graveyard shift, but I love watching the players that play it.
Did you have a forward 50 policy that if you could kick the goal, you wouldn't pass it?
Forward 60, I reckon. Yeah. It was, I backed myself in probably more than most. I think I got a bit of a reality check when Simo first got to the club. I remember I was thinking, I don't know how we're going to get along after my first team meeting, because he pulled one up and it was a clip of me the year before. I think it was Curry had one at about 55, and I've wheeled around behind him and just grabbed it, didn't look, had a shot, and it was something I'd always done. And he said, I don't know if that's on, Lek. And I sort of was like, righto, Simo, come on, mate. And he was right, and it was things like that. Like when he came through, I think Pritta said he was a great educator, and he was, because I feel my role really changed from me just thinking that my best effect on the side was going out and trying to kick my 2 or 3 a week to going out and just playing the best role I can play within the side. And it was something that I feel inside the 4 walls of the footy club sort of helped me play that little bit extra, and it's a role that's really valued if you can do what's best for the team, not necessarily for yourself. And we got there in the end, Simo, so thanks, mate.
Last couple for you. In between fishing and shooting wild boar and growing avocados, are you still playing footy?
Oh, I played a couple of games last year, yeah. So we did a family trip. I was done with it. I played the year before, a couple of games with my brother, and I got back from that trip and took my son down to Auskick at Savannah's and got roped into pulling the boots on. I had to play with a B graders pair of boots, and I said reluctantly, yeah, I'll sit in the goal square. At quarter time, I had 0 possessions and got caught holding the ball and was questioning myself, and then the competitiveness kicked in, so I ended up with a few.
You made the West Perth Hall of Fame last year, and you kicked a bag and you left at 3/4 time to drive down to be inducted into a special football club for you, the West Perth Football Club. You were the last inductee. It was about 11:30. You could have played and had about 25 cans by the time you got inducted. Where does this sit with West Perth and that footy journey?
Oh, they're 2 great football clubs. I think I mentioned when I was inducted into the West Perth one, which is the same here. I just really want to thank the people that came before me, and the staff, be it players, everyone that's walked through the 4 walls of the footy club and had a positive impact, like supporters as well, because they do really lay the foundations and create such a good culture that players like myself, when I walk through, I'm able just to, it's easy for us. We're able to get the best out of ourselves. So, for me, that's something that I'm just truly thankful. I'll just keep going if you want. Yeah, all right. Anyone that's come through, I'm just, like I said, I'm grateful, because you create an environment that allowed me to get the best out of myself. So a round of applause to yourselves, everyone in the room, really. Thank you. I won't get off here without thanking my family. Seems to be a pretty common theme up here that everyone that's been inducted has had their missus with them the whole time. So I remember being drafted in 2004, and Em was sitting alongside me, and we're still here together. I've had a few tags during my time, but you've been the best one. So honestly, you're a great wife, a great mother, and you've just been the real solid rock that's been consistent my whole time of footy. Brother and sister, we used to have some good battles in the backyard. Carly got a few few hangers and bumps when she wasn't ready, but you're always a good train on for me and Brent. And Dad and Mum, what you guys did for me growing up was just amazing. Dad always, he played at East Freo, and I suppose I mentioned my granddad as well, who's here. Played a lot of country footy, but always idolised you guys growing up, and always sort of wanted to be like you, and thanks for everything you've done. I guess it's, my teammates. It's good to see some of you guys in the room tonight, and I mean, these events are good when you're a past player because you get to catch up with players that you haven't seen in a while, and it's something that I'm grateful for. The people that have selected me to get this award as well. And lastly, just want to say congratulations to Pikey, Pritter and Fido. I guess it shows how great the footy club is when you get awarded into something like this, and it's with 3 other guys that have had a big impact on your playing career. Pritter, we played pretty much our whole career, state 18s and everything together. Pikey obviously played a big role in my career as well, with your role at the footy club, being an assistant coach. And Fido, I don't know if you know how much of an impact you had on my career. You were only there for 1 year together, but I watched you so closely, and your competitiveness and drive and the way you trained, I took a lot of that away from watching you, and tried to implement it for the rest of my footy career. So thanks, guys. And lastly, I just want to thank my coaches. So Woosha, Simo, you guys gave me every opportunity, always backed me in. There's a lot of opinions in footy, and I didn't really give a toss about many of them unless they were inside the 4 walls of West Coast, the greatest footy club in the world. So you guys always backed me in, and I appreciate it. So thanks, guys, and thanks for everyone.